Hello and welcome back to Life in Pictures.
We got a whole new episode to talk about movies with you today. And we'd like to thank everybody for listening to our last episode, which has surpassed our debut episode for the most plays.
Yes, because who doesn't love Home Alone?
So I guess I was wrong. There's more than 3 people listening. I think there's like 4 that probably all listen to it a few times each. But either way, I will take what I can get. Thank you, everybody who played that show. And if you liked what you heard, tell somebody about it. Leave a review. Do whatever you got to do. It'd be cool if you spread the word. If not, that's fine too.
So it's almost Christmas. We're still in December. We are in the thick of watching Christmas holiday movies, which we really started to do in November this year. But there were a couple of new movies that came out this season. So we're going to talk about just a couple of those today. Now, I will preface this by saying that we did not watch any of the Hallmark Channel classics this year.
Yeah, we have no time for that.
Yeah. So basically, Travis is not into like a Lifetime Hallmarky kind of movie.
Yeah,
so
nobody needs to watch those. They're all the same.
So we didn't watch those. But I was very interested in watching Spirited. Even though I have like this weird thing with Will Ferrell, I'm not a big fan of his.
For some reason.
I don't like Elf. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like Step Brothers. I don't know. Any of those movies from like the early 2000s. Like, I don't like stupid comedy.
Basically, what she's saying is she has a fundamental misunderstanding of comedy.
I just don't like stupid comedy. I feel that way about like some of the Adam Sandler movies. There's other people. It's not just Will Ferrell. But anyway.
Basically, if it's funny, she doesn't like it.
That's not true.
I think that's what she's saying.
But I do feel like as Will Ferrell has gotten older, like he's very funny in the Daddy's Home movies. I can handle him more because maybe he's just less stupid. I don't know. But anyway, so I wanted to see Spirited. I'm a big musical theater fan, so having that musical element was very, exciting. So let's start with that.
All right, yeah. So what we were going to originally do was try to do kind of a countdown of Christmas movies, and then we realized like we're not going to have time to watch all of these movies and take notes on all of them and everything to really effectively do much. So what we're doing instead of that is combining 2 movies into one episode, kind of like we did last time. And those 2 movies are Spirited and A Christmas Story Christmas. Those are both brand new movies this year in time for Christmas. We've watched them. Hopefully you've watched them too, because what do we have?
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! We're going to be talking about these movies as if you've already seen them. So again, if you haven't seen them and you want to see them, or if you just don't want them to be spoiled, go watch them and then come back and listen to the show. That being said, first up, Spirited is the one we're going to talk about, which you can watch right now on Apple TV Plus. It looks like the subscription rate just went up to $6.99 from $5.99 or $4.99 for what it was before. Everything's going up. But usually you can find trials of Apple TV every now and then pretty frequently. So maybe if you get in on that, you won't have to pay at all. And if you like it, then you can stick around and pay $6.99 a month. They got shows, they got movies, they got all kinds of stuff. I'm not getting paid to say this. I just like to give credit.
I was just going to say,
where credit is
nice
due.
Little ad for Apple TV. Apple TV, if you would like to sponsor our podcast, please send us an email at lifeandpicturespodcast@gmail.com, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm opposed to getting paid for saying this. I'm just saying I'm not currently getting paid for saying this. That's just to be clear. But I want people to have the info. So
Spirited is a new adaptation, another take on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, usually we try to do a plot summary here, but I think everybody's pretty familiar with that story.
Yeah.
If you're not, I don't know. Should we give them a rundown, or are we just going to take it for granted they know the story?
I mean, you should know the story because it's I mean, there's so many. So, no, we're not going to tell you what the story is because
Not,
you should know.
not everybody is as cultured as we are.
There's lots and lots and lots and lots of movies out there, including Mickey Mouse ones and Muppet Baby ones. And
Side note, Mickey's Christmas Carol is on Disney Plus, and that is a classic. If you haven't seen that, or Muppet Christmas Carol, also a very nice adaptation. Go see those two. All right, so like we said, it's a new take on A Christmas Carol.
So I thought it was interesting. It was definitely a choice to make it a musical. Now, I'm not saying that was a bad thing, right? Because I love musicals. But we've watched it twice now. We watched it once, just Travis and I, and then we watched it again with our son because he wanted to watch it. And I feel like they could have told the entire story without the music. But
That's how I feel about every musical most of the time.
maybe. But I also, not necessarily, because I do feel like there are stories where the music is such like an integral part of the story. But this, I felt like all of the music was just additional. However, I will say I do feel like it would transfer very, very well to stage.
Yes.
Like I think that the style and the music itself, like I feel like this could definitely run on Broadway.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely in the style of a Broadway musical.
Right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So, I thought this was a unique take on the story.
Yes.
It opens with this lady who's seeing her grave, and she's with the ghost of Christmas future, and we see she wakes up and she's redeemed. But we also find out that the ghosts have this whole workshop. It looks like Santa style workshop. The spirits are actors, and so it's just a different take on it, which I really liked.
Yeah. I liked that they named the lady Karen. Well, okay, first of all, I kind of don't like it, but I get where they did. This lady, she was kind of mean to everyone in her neighborhood, and so they named her Karen. My beef with that is everybody calls people Karen when they act like that. And all of the memes, who do they have a picture of to represent Karen? Who? Kate Gosselin. Kate, not Karen, Kate. That lady ruined everyone's life, and especially the lives of all of the good Karens of the world.
Travis is very passionate about going to bat for women named Karen.
Yes. It's not fair. It's not fair. It wouldn't be fair. All right, so here's the thing. It wouldn't be fair to other women named Kate either, but at least it would make sense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Side note, I've never met Kate Gosselin. She's probably a lovely lady. I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying the meme was based on a woman named Kate. That's all I'm saying.
God, why are you breathing so loud?
Yeah. Yeah. That lady. That's her. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. They named the lady Karen. So yeah, like we said, it's kind of a newer take on it. They have this group of people, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. It's kind of a corporate structure. They've got supervisors. They've got a whole team that queue up simulations of their lives. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting to see the way that they had that set up. The spirits they have a retirement option. Mm-hmm. So when they reach the eligibility for retirement, they can go back to Earth and be human again. And I guess until they die and they can do that, they can be spirits again, or I don't they didn't really specify. I don't think.
Maybe they live forever.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
I thought it was interesting where Will Ferrell was talking about his retirement. He's like, I'm going to buy a quaint little house, and they show this giant house. I'm like, maybe that's what's quaint to them. I mean, I think in reality, probably what it was is, he can't see what the final thing's going to say, so he's just reading the script. But I thought whoever put up that graphic, I was like, that's the quaint little house? Okay.
So I thought it was interesting that Will Ferrell's character is kind of like, they said that he'd been eligible for retirement for 42 seasons. so he's having this kind of like existential crisis. Like, am I doing enough? Am I helping enough people? So he wants to make the next person that they haunt
Meaningful.
really meaningful. And by choosing someone who's going to impact a lot of lives. So if they change, it's going to cause a big ripple, right? One of the funny things that we kind of noticed in the movie was that the manager of the spirit workshop corporation, whatever you want to call it, is Jacob.
Yeah, his name was Jacob, like Jacob Marley in A Christmas Carol. Mm-hmm. That was an interesting detail.
And then they go to scout the person that they're going to haunt the next season, and it's this really mean, nasty hotel manager, and he's just berating the one of the maintenance men who's kind of walking through the hotel instead of only going in the servants' quarters or whatever, and he's just really nasty to him. And they're like, this is the guy. And then in walks Ryan Reynolds, and he's kind of he's on the cell phone, and he can't see them because they're spirits and they're not really there, but he gets so incredibly close to Will Ferrell's face that, like, I have no idea how they could do that and not break character. I mean, there's probably some really hilarious outtakes, but that's got to be one of them because he is so close they could literally kiss.
I'm kind of wondering if maybe they didn't shoot that at the same time because he went through him at the end. Mm-hmm. So maybe they weren't actually face to face.
Oh, that could be.
You know,
yeah.
That, I mean, I don't know.
But both times that I watched it, I was like, I don't know how he can like be that close to him, and neither one of them like even blinks.
Yeah. But
Ryan Reynolds plays this guy called Clint Briggs, and he specializes in disinformation. And so Will Ferrell is just like taken by him. He's like, this is the guy, you know, we need to really do this one. And Jacob is like, we're not, because his file says that he's unredeemable. And that's a big, so they go back and forth. And then Will Ferrell says, well, then I'm going to cash in my retirement. And that's another, and then he's getting ready to break into song, and Jacob's like, you know what? Fine. I just don't want to hear the song, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah. There's a scene in there where they show Ryan Reynolds, or what's his name in the movie? Clint Briggs, doing his job, specializing in disinformation, where he's coordinating with Octavia Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She plays Kimberly.
Yes. About, Billie Eilish and Ed Sheeran having a beef on Twitter, and how, you know, it's all planned out that he's going to post some insensitive thing and she's going to get real mad at him, and it's all going to be a work. And it just seems like that's probably something that, I don't know if that really happens in real life, but if it doesn't, it seems like
I feel like it really does. Yeah. I think they really do this.
Seems plausible. So...
one line I thought was really funny. So we see that he has this niece, and she's like middle school age, and he obviously doesn't know how to behave around her. And he's the daughter of his sister that has passed away, and his other brother, who's kind of a hippie kind of guy, looks a little bit homeless, is taking care of her. And she comes to see him because she wants to be class president and she wants his advice. But anyway, one of the things he says to her is, you want a juice box? You want a Negroni? It was just funny because obviously
what is a Negroni?
It's an alcoholic drink.
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
So like he just really has no idea how to deal with children, and that's
I like the way that they, not so subtly put Apple products everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's like, look, I'm going to type this up on my MacBook while I call you on my iPhone, and I type this other thing up on my iPad.
Yeah.
Let's FaceTime, and I'll get a notification on my Apple Watch.
Yeah, the product placement was very heavy.
We get it. It's Apple TV. All right, cool.
Even in the flashbacks, they had, like, old school phones and computers. And
yeah. Like, I mean, I get that, they're going to do what they got to do to push their products, but it's like, You could maybe just have other phones and don't mention them by brand, or maybe this guy has a phone and it's in a case and you can't see the brand on it or something.
Yeah.
It just
It
seems
is a little bit unrealistic that
seems
like
kinda
everybody's walking
sanitized,
around with a phone that's not in a case. Like
Yeah.
that's not a good choice.
Label side out, folks.
Yeah.
Label side out.
But Apple Network.
But anyway, I get it. I get why they did it. It's noticeable, which they're probably going for that. But kind of takes you out of the story a little bit, in my opinion. So Tracy Morgan plays the ghost of Christmas Future, and he comes up with some colorful catchphrases.
Yes.
One of them you enjoyed.
Yeah. You've been Christmas Carol, bitch.
It's always funny to see Tracy Morgan and stuff. He's a funny guy.
That's also funny because the ghost of Christmas Future is like this very tall, like
Grim
you never
Reaper kinda guy.
actually see Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
It's just like you see the hand that's a bone and he's in this black hood and he doesn't talk when he's haunting. But then so the voice coming out of him is unexpected.
Seems like he would do really well in WWE around like the beginning of the year when everybody just points at the WrestleMania sign, because that's what he specializes is just pointing at stuff. And then that's why he came up with the catchphrases, because he wanted to branch out a little bit.
And then I don't remember the context of this line, but it was funny. Was it Clint that said it, or was it Will Ferrell? Every other adaptation that nobody asked for.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but I remember that, and I was like, well, this is one of them.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's kind of them being self-aware, I guess.
Because they talked about Scrooged and they talked about
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how I interpreted it, was that it's just kind of a self-deprecating joke, which was pretty funny.
So they start the haunt. They spend this whole year kind of researching Clint Briggs, and they start the haunt, and the ghost of Christmas past shows up. And she ends up hooking up with him. How? I guess my question is, like, logistically, how is the ghost? Because they, like, okay. But anyway, we can move past that question.
Yeah.
But it was a logistical question, in my opinion, because, like, how?
I liked it when Tracy Morgan told Will Ferrell not to come back with the same story she did.
Yeah, that was funny.
There was another, speaking of Apple products, there was another scene. They were going through kind of Ryan Reynolds, Clint Briggs' life, and they show him when... Had he started his own company by this point in the movie?
No, he was
I guess he was still working for somebody else. And he was showing somebody how Twitter was going to be the next big thing. And he's doing it on this iMac that's one of the old iMacs that came in the colors, the big CRT monitor ones. And I was just like, that iMac, that wasn't a thing when Twitter was out. I mean, I guess technically it's possible that he just had a really old computer. But like, if you're in a big firm like that, why would they have that old computer like that? And I looked it up, and I was right. That computer came out in 1998, and the successor came out in 2002, which was like a square, flat screen iMac, and Twitter came out in 2006. So
okay.
I find it hard to believe that he would have a computer from 1998 and 2006 and be like that, like a big prestigious firm like that would be like, here's this old computer, do our work for us.
Yeah.
However, there was a scene where they go to a mall, and there's a Sephora in the mall, and he says, Sephora wasn't here. And then Will Ferrell says, yeah, it didn't exist, but we have a deal with Sephora or something like that. So I was like, well, maybe that explains why that computer's in the simulation, because maybe it's just an approximation. I don't know if that's a mistake or if that was on purpose, but I noticed it.
Yes. And then he says, shut your dumb face and just watch the scene.
Well, good old Clint Briggs there escapes to the Spirit headquarters, and he discovers that he's an unredeemable. And
so then he kind of gets the upper hand, and he starts to manipulate Will Ferrell a little bit. So then Will Ferrell's like, okay, well, I'm going to take you to the only person that's ever been redeemed. So they go back and it's, 1800s in London, and you see that this little boy shows up, and he's at Ebenezer Scrooge's house, and they pan up, and who's Scrooge?
Will Ferrell.
There you go. So that was kind of like the mind-blowing, like, oh shit. So he is the only unredeemable that has ever been redeemed.
And then they have the greatest thing where he says to his kid, "Good afternoon," and everybody's all offended about it. And he's, "Good afternoon to you too." And then it's revealed later on that "good afternoon" apparently in the time of Scrooge meant F you, or equivalent to F you.
Good afternoon.
So then they have this big musical number about it, which is great. I enjoyed that part of the movie. But and as above everything else, now I just can't laugh. I can't help but laugh to myself every time I have to say good afternoon to somebody. Like when I'm at work and I'm sending an email and you start it off with good afternoon. It's just...
Maybe we should stop doing that. I don't know.
I kind of like it, actually. It's funny. So during the musical number, there's a few cameos. They sing about Judi Dench and she walks by. Oliver Twist shows up, which is also a Charles Dickens character. And might I add, the subject of the greatest musical ever, Oliver. The only one you need to know about. If you have not seen Oliver, you need to see that. That's the greatest musical you're ever going to see.
I feel like Oliver is absolutely terrible. You're lying to our fans.
No, I am not lying. You need to go see this movie. I'm not going to try to go too far into detail right here, but it's an amazing movie.
Okay.
It's got some great songs in it. It's got a great story. If you've never read Oliver Twist, the book, you should read the book. The book's great too. It's amazing.
Anyway. So they go back to Clint's house at the party. They're playing Elton John Step Into Christmas.
Yeah, which I found personally relevant because for years I've heard this song play on the radio or like in a store or whatever. And I don't know if it's just me, but I could never understand what he's saying. It just sounds like, I remember Christmas, ever and ever. You can understand a few words. So the past few times I've heard it on the radio, I've been trying to listen real closely and figure out what the heck Elton John is saying in this song. I could just Google the lyrics, but what's the fun in that? So far, I've done pretty good, actually. I've learned more words this year than I've ever learned of that song in my life. And I'll tell you exactly what he's saying in the chorus. Oh, and my radio helped me a little bit because I didn't know that the name of the song was "Step Into Christmas" till I saw it on my phone. But that helped me put a lot of the puzzle together. So the chorus is, "Step into Christmas, let's come together. We can watch the snow fall forever and ever. Eat, drink, and be merry. Come along with me. Step into Christmas. The admission's free." So if anybody else out there has been going crazy trying to figure out what the heck he's saying, there you go. Merry Christmas. And if you're probably smarter than me, you Googled it. But if you're like me and you did want to Google it and you wanted to do it the old-fashioned way, that's what he's saying. Anyway, back to the movie.
So I love that they were talking about the retirement package. And Will Ferrell says, "It includes a Sephora gift card." Yes, please. So then I started wondering, is there like some kind of Sephora and Apple connection? Because they mentioned Sephora a couple of times in the movie.
Yeah, man, I'm really not sure. Maybe there is.
Yeah. Well, so they're back at the party, and there's some cameos at the party because everybody at the party is dressed as like some character from some kind of Christmas movie or song or something. Yeah. So his brother is there, and
he's dressed as Eddie from Christmas Vacation,
yes.
Which I didn't notice the first time. The second time I noticed that he had the moose cup, and I guess I just wasn't paying that close of attention the first time. But I noticed it because we had just recently watched Christmas Vacation as well, so that was interesting.
Well, and it's funny because he kind of looks like a bum, and
yeah.
But
one of the more funnier cameos though was a guy that helps Will Ferrell out. And what's he dressed up like? He's
dressed like Buddy the Elf.
So he runs into Buddy the Elf, and because he can't walk through walls anymore. and then this guy helps him out, and then Will Ferrell tells Buddy the Elf that he looks stupid, which was funny.
The Grinch, there was the Grinch.
The Grinch was there. Yeah, there was a few other people.
But basically, like, the whole thing about the shit whispering.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds kept saying people are shit whispering, and it's like the equivalent of shit talking, but they're saying it quietly so we can't hear. Then he said something like, "You can't just make me face this and FO." I think that's what he said. I don't know. I might be wrong about that, but that's what it sounded like. So if that is what he said, it's funny. If it's not what he said, it's funny that I thought that he said that. So to me, it is.
So we skipped ahead just a little bit, but basically, Will Ferrell takes his retirement in the middle of the haunt because he wants to. He's fallen in love with Kimberly, Clint's assistant, and he wants to have a life with her. So that's when he ends up walking into the wall because he can't walk through walls anymore. But yeah, the numbers in the show, the musical numbers are very, like, could definitely be adapted to Broadway. Like, I think that would be very easy. But it's interesting because I don't think there are many movies where they are musicals where I feel like it does, like, you don't need it, but it's also like it was good.
Like you'd go see it if it was on Broadway.
Yeah. Like I don't feel like there's many things out there where, like, both ways are necessary, but in this one I kind of did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a hard thing to explain. I really liked it. The one thing that was kind of hard for me was just the whole the scenario of the middle school boy being bullied so hard that he ends up killing himself, and then that's kind of the thing that leads Clint to want to redo and go back and have his niece not send the tweet.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because even the first time we watched the movie, I didn't know what it would be, but I knew the second they showed the niece, and when they showed that section where he had that hard time with his sister dying and she asked him to take her and he wouldn't do it, I knew that his redemption was going to involve the niece.
Yeah.
So he he ends up stopping her from sending it. Actually, Kimberly kind of stops her from sending it.
The thing is that he thinks that even though he did that, he's still going to revert to being bad.
Yeah.
And so he becomes bros with Will Ferrell, and Will Ferrell walks out in front of a bus, and he pushes him out of the way of the bus, and then time stops, and they have this dance sequence. And then you think, oh, good, it's going to be a happy ending now. And then he still gets hit by the bus.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Which was interesting because our son said, oh, that whatever. Oh, that it'd never stop. What if when they stop dancing, he just gets hit by the bus? And I was like, oh, well, hold on a minute and see if you're right. And then I already knew that was going to happen because I'd seen it before. But that was interesting. And then so he gets hit by the bus. Then he goes and he basically swaps places with Will Ferrell. Mm. And then he's the ghost of Christmas Present now. And it was a nice little wrap up to the movie. It was a good movie. I think that could be, probably a new Christmas tradition, if you want to watch Spirit, add that to one of the list of Christmas movies.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that in their big ending number, before he gets hit by the bus, when the bus is kind of frozen in time, the lyrics of the song that they're singing are passing over the top of the bus. Yeah. It's just I
didn't know if we were supposed to notice that or if it was just like an Easter egg, but
yeah.
But it's there. So
it was a good movie. We liked it. Yeah. Will Ferrell got his happy ending. He married Kimberly and they had 2 kids, and actually the girl that played the daughter is Tracy Morgan's daughter in real life.
Yeah. And I learned that because I saw Will Ferrell do an interview on Jimmy Kimmel.
There you go.
Or maybe it was Jimmy Fallon. I don't know. Anyway, nice little tidbit for you there.
So that is our Spirited wrap up. And then we also watched A Christmas Story Christmas. But I'm going to be really honest with you. I actually hate the movie A Christmas Story. Like, hate,
Yeah, see,
hate.
she doesn't like anything that people like.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I guess.
A Christmas Story is a classic. How are you gonna hate A Christmas Story?
I don't like it.
Come
but,
on.
I wasn't, like, this movie didn't really keep my attention that well either.
Well, yeah, because like the other movies where you look at your phone the whole time and then you look up at the end like, oh, I don't even know what happened. Like, well, yeah, it wasn't on Twitter. You got to watch the movie to find out what happened.
Yeah. So this movie is available to stream as part of an HBO Max subscription.
Yes, and HBO Max. I don't know if they have trials of that, but every once in a while, like around, especially around this time of the year, they'll have deals like.
I heard it's like switching. It's not going to be a thing anymore. Something about Warner Brothers.
Yeah, they merged with Warner Brothers or something. So I don't know if I'd say it's not going to be a thing anymore, but it's probably going to not be the same thing that it is now. I think the last deal I saw for that was like $1.99 a month for 2 months around Black Friday. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had a deal like that around Christmas as well. Your mileage may vary, but worth checking out. So A Christmas Story. This one's called A Christmas Story Christmas. It just came out earlier this month, very recently. Mm-hmm. And this is a follow-up to the classic movie A Christmas Story, which I believe was released in 1983. Early 80s, before we were born, or as we were born around then. I was never really familiar with this movie, or the way that I became familiar with the original movie was they would always show it on TBS for 24 hours at Christmas time.
Yes.
And you could just watch it, and you could stop what you're doing, and you could watch it all throughout the day, watch little sections of it. And I just remember catching it on TV one time and thinking, oh, this is an interesting story. I don't know what this is. I'll watch it. And I thought it was pretty cool, and it kind of became a classic, and hence why they made this follow-up to it so many years later. Now there's been other ones. There actually is A Christmas Story 2, but it has different actors in it. So I think this is the first sequel that actually has most of the original cast, or some of the original cast in it. And I'm pretty sure it also directly ignores those other sequels. So here's plot summary. This one is set in the 70s. The original was set in the 40s, I believe. 1940, sometime around then. Ralphie is now an adult. He's married with children. He is an aspiring author, and he has given himself a year to get his novel published. And it is coming up on that deadline very soon. He has not been able to get it published. He's kind of, the pressure's on for him. And it's not going very well. He gets a phone call from his mother that reveals that his father has passed away, at which time he decides to take his family to visit his mother and to have Christmas in her house, which is the house that he grew up in from the first movie. His little brother is a successful businessman, and he's busy in India or something, so he can't come home for Christmas and his father's funeral. Even though, I mean, whatever. Nobody wants to see a little brother anyway. They probably could have made him die. I'd rather have him die and keep the old man. The old man was a better character. But the reason they can't have the old man is because the actor died in real life. So he can't come back and play the guy. So they killed him off. I mean, he would have been pretty old by then anyway, I guess. Maybe not. I mean, the mother was still alive, so probably not. But and beside the point. Let's see. His kids experience some of the same things that he did as a child. Picking out the perfect Christmas tree with their parents, watching their father fix things. In this movie, his car fails a lot. Dealing with bullies, things like that. Ralphie experiences some hardships as a parent. They have their Christmas presents stolen. The Christmas tree star breaks on Christmas Eve. It was interesting to kind of see that the other side of it from his point of view, because you've seen him as a child and now you're seeing him as a parent. His friends and his enemies still live in this small town. His friend Flick owns a bar. It's Scott. I've heard that this guy's name is actually Scott. I don't know if it's Scott or Scott. I always thought it was Scott. Farkas is now a cop. Schwartz, his other friend, is kind of a freeloader to Flick. He lives in his mom's basement. He's got this huge tab at Flick's bar. There's some hijinks. Some good times are had by all. And eventually we learn that Ralphie's book gets rejected from every publisher, and he's very discouraged. He finds his typewriter in the attic of his mother's house, and then he gets inspired because he's tasked with writing the obituary of his father, and he's been having writer's block on that as well. He finally writes the obituary, and his wife, unbeknownst to him, takes it to the newspaper, and they like it so much that it becomes a front page column. And it actually turns out that what he wrote was kind of the story of the first film and his experiences growing up that were covered in A Christmas Story. And now he finds out that it's published on the front page on Christmas Day. So he's become a real author. And then he accepts his position as the new patriarch of the family by sitting in his father's chair and reminiscing about his childhood. His father had actually purchased everybody gifts before he passed away, so that was kind of a big deal. Like I said, we're not going to go over the movie scene by scene anymore, but that's kind of the gist of what happened in the movie. Again, spoiler alert, we had spoiled everything for you, so hopefully you listened to the beginning and you heard spoiler alert. But if not, that's on you. So now we'll go to kind of our impressions of the film. Or my impressions of the film. I guess you can talk about that too. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cool seeing like the props. They had some of the props from the original movie in the attic. Like they had the leg lamp, and I think the bunny suit was up there that they gave him. That his aunt gave him. His aunt or his grandma, or I don't remember how he got it. Somebody gave it to him as a present in the first one. It was kind of a nice callback. Here's something really stupid that I thought to myself while I was watching the movie, and then I realized how dumb I am. Like, I was seeing all these people come back, and I was like, oh, they should get that kid that played Ralphie to come back. And then I was like, oh, yeah, you moron, he's an adult now. He's playing the main character. Like, for some reason in my mind, I was like, where'd that kid go? And then I'm like, yeah, okay, that's how I'm doing tonight. All right. Vince Vaughn and Peter Billingsley, Peter Billingsley is the guy that plays Ralphie, produced the film. And I thought that was interesting because they were both in the movie Couples Retreat together. And Peter Billingsley plays the realtor. No, was it Couples? No, it wasn't Couples Retreat. It was The Breakup. My fault. The Breakup is what they were in together. And he plays the realtor that sells their apartment when they break up. And that was the first movie that I had seen Peter Billingsley as an adult in, and it was with Vince Vaughn. So I guess
Are they friends?
Friends. I mean, apparently they have some kind of relationship, so that's pretty cool. I liked the scene where Scott Farkas, I'm not completely clear on his name. I thought it was Scott this whole time. Maybe Scott's a nickname. I'm not sure. Where he kind of made amends with Ralphie. So in the movie, the Christmas tree star breaks on Christmas Eve. And he promised his kids that, Santa's going to look for this star. He's going to know where you are because you're not at home. And then the star breaks. So he has to go out on Christmas Eve and find a new star. And of course, everywhere is closed and he can't find it. Well, he's passing by Flick's bar and he notices that there's a star on the Christmas tree in the bar. So he breaks into the bar to borrow it. And, the cops get notified, and who shows up? Scott Farkas, who's now a cop. Mm-hmm. And he was the bully from the first movie. You sort of are led to think that it's going to be some like, oh, well, he's screwed now. Like, he's not going to let him go. And it turns out that, he's been feeling bad his whole life, that he was a bully and he wants to make things right. So he helps him out, gives him a ride home. He tells him the fact that, like, Ralphie stood up to him when he was a kid is what set him on the path to turn his life around and become a cop. So that was kind of cool to see that sort of resolved.
Full circle.
There was a scene where Ralphie's kids get bullied, and it's kind of revealed that the kids that were bullying his kids were Scott Farkus's kids. But they stand up to those kids too, because those kids are always riding around a snowmobile. So what they do is they build a snowman around a tree stump, and then they try to knock it down, and they wreck their snowmobile. Which was kind of interesting because it's kind of a parallel between the two stories, where they both had the same kind of trials and they came out of it, successfully. There's a scene where they stop because their car's overheating, and they all have a snowball fight. And Ralphie accidentally hits his daughter in the eye with a snowball, which I thought was a nice callback to the first movie where everybody keeps telling him he'll shoot his eye out because he wants that BB gun for Christmas. And then I thought this was another thing I thought was really funny. So we were watching this movie with our kids, and they have this scene where, they're exchanging presents on Christmas morning. And his car has been failing this whole movie, and he needs a radiator for it. So his family got him a radiator for his car. And so his daughter says, "Oh, we have something for you. I'm going to bring it. I'll go get it for you." And our daughter, completely serious, was like, "Oh, she's going to hit him in the face with a snowball now." And I was like, that's amazing. That is exactly how it should end, is you don't see it coming, and she just comes in and nails him in the eye like, "I don't forget, old man." And then the credits roll, and you're just like, what just happened? That would be like the M. Night Shyamalan ending to the movie. And I just thought that was amazing. And she wasn't even kidding. That was like she really thought that was going to happen. I thought that was hilarious. And then I just thought it was interesting to see Ralphie as a parent, since we've already seen him as a child in the first movie, and kind of watching his experiences and just understanding what he's going through, myself having experienced Christmas now as a parent and as a child.
Yeah.
So that was my impressions of the movie. I guess you didn't really have a whole lot to say about that, but do you have any favorite scenes or observations or anything?
The mom was a drunk.
Yes. Oh, the mom was a different actress too, which was weird. I think the original lady didn't want to do it or something. I'm not sure what the exact reason was, but she's not dead or anything like the dad was. She just, I guess, wasn't interested in it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just not, I'm not attached to the first one, so this one, I mean, it wasn't terrible.
I always liked the guy that plays Farkus. He was on the show Titus. Christopher Titus had a show called Titus, and he was, I don't know, was he his brother? His name was Dave, and he did the paint on the cars that they worked on, and he was pretty funny on that. And he was also in Freddy vs. Jason.
Fun fact.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I probably should know his name. I just call him Dave because that was the first thing I saw him in was Titus, which is his name is not Dave. I know that, but I'll have to look that up. Anyway, that was A Christmas Story Christmas. It was pretty cool. If you liked the first one, you'll probably like this. There's a lot of callbacks to the first one. It's probably not like so much of a classic movie on its own that you'd want to watch it again and again, but it's kind of a nice reminiscing tour of that universe. If you haven't checked in a while, maybe you go check that out.
Okay, real quick, let's just do it. Top 5 Christmas movies.
Top 5 Christmas movies.
Home Alone.
Home Alone 2.
Okay, that's 2.
I'm putting Elf on the list.
Okay.
Even though you're not. Mickey's Christmas Carol, The Grinch.
Okay, you're at 5.
I mean, you could say all 3 versions of The Grinch. I don't know if I'd put them all on the list.
So
but
I
just
would
the
say
Grinch in general.
Home Alone 2,
Yeah.
Can we just use one spot for Home Alone, even though it includes both of them?
Sure.
Okay. Home Alone, 1 and 2. The Santa Claus.
Oh, the Santa Claus. Yeah, I agree on that.
Christmas Vacation.
Okay, sure.
Miracle on 34th Street.
I've never seen that.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay, so we have some homework to do.
Yeah.
That's 4.
Okay, what did I say? Elf.
You said Elf.
Okay.
And The Grinch.
The Grinch. Yeah.
Okay.
Die Hard. Batman Returns.
Christmas adjacent movies. That's a whole other podcast episode.
What do we got?
What are
3
your
more.
favorite Christmas movies? Four Christmases. That
Four
one's
Christmases
classic.
is a good one.
That's so good. I love The Family Stone. Travis hates it.
Yeah, that's a dumb movie. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. I know what you need. Only watch the movies I say.
So what are your favorite Christmas movies? My dad's favorite Christmas movie is Babes in Toyland.
I've never seen that either.
It's
I've heard of it. I've never watched it.
It's a little creepy with the dancing nutcrackers.
I mean, you probably would say the Nutcracker, but honestly, I'm not that. I'm sort of vaguely familiar with the plot, but I've never actually sat down and watched the whole thing. It's like a classic
top 5 movie though.
I said Mickey's Christmas Carol too, right?
Yes.
So what? Then we have 2 left, or what? I wasn't keeping track.
We're way past 5.
All right.
We're way past 5. But anyway, we would love to know what your favorite holiday movies are. Please share them with us. We'd be happy to give them a watch. If you haven't already and you do have Disney Plus, the Santa Claus's TV show is really good. It's 6 episodes. We watched it with our kids. Loved it. That whole series of movies I loved. So to see that brought back to life now with Tim Allen and just really cool. And some of the original cast members came back for this. And
what about Jingle All the Way? That's a good one.
Jingle All the Way.
Which has Paul White in it, a.k.a. The Big Show from WWE.
So, I mean, there's just so many. It's hard to kind of narrow them down. But there are movies that I feel like we watch every year without fail.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Classic.
I'm not a big Ernest fan
Okay.
either.
Yeah, see? She doesn't like anything that's funny. I'm telling you.
Travis says I don't like joy and happiness.
She doesn't. She doesn't like joy and happiness.
I'm a curmudgeon. But anyway, so we would love to hear your thoughts. Please rate and like our podcast on the
Absolutely,
podcast
yes.
platforms.
We very much appreciate everybody who's out there listening. And, we joke around, or I joke around a lot about how it's not that many people. But truth be told, I don't have any idea how many people are listening to this. I know how many plays it got, which this past episode got the most of any of them. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And, if you like what we're doing and you want to hear us talk about movies some more, go ahead and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, which is Spotify, which hosts this podcast. Basically anywhere. I mean, I think that once it gets out there, it's just kind of there's scrapers that put it on all kinds of stuff. So wherever you listen to podcasts at, there's probably an option to subscribe. And go ahead and do that. Leave a review if you like what you hear, and
reach out on social media. Tell us what you want to hear next. Obviously, we're going into the new year here shortly.
I think we're most active on Instagram and Facebook. Mm-hmm. And we are at Life in Pics Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Life in Pictures Podcast on Facebook and YouTube. And Life in Pictures Podcast at gmail.com. If you don't do social media, but you still want to interact, you can send us an email there.
Yes. Tell Travis we need a TikTok.
I mean,
don't you want to see Travis do some TikTok dances? I know you do.
I guess we could get one. The thing is, we've bought a camera. We've got obviously sound equipment that we're making this show with. And we've discussed doing like a YouTube type deal or possibly TikTok. So it's not completely out of the question, but I don't know. Yeah, let us know. Is that something you want to see? Let us know. I think that's about all we got to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say. So until then, I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas
Happy
or
holidays.
happy or whatever holiday that you celebrate. I hope it's a good one. And
happy, blessed, safe New Year.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll see you next year. And thank you for listening to Life in Pictures podcast. We hope you've enjoyed your show. Good night.